There are a lot of single mothers there who are doing a wonderful job. A lot of single mothers who are raising wonderful children, great achievers. I don't think it's so much of a problem of a single parentage. Although we have accepted, and I said it earlier, that children do better where there are both parents at home. You know, but in some circumstances, you know, you find out that some families end up being single parent families. And we have looked at some of the causes. It's been said about, you know, some fathers not being there, not because they don't want to be there, either they are in another part of the world. And sometimes economic circumstances force, you know, parents, you know, parents to move to one area of the world while the other. So there's so many issues there. And then you also have strife and, you know, breakdown of relationship. Now, one of the biggest challenges we have within the community here is marriage breakdown, relationship breakdown, family breakdown. Within the African community, this issue is becoming very serious. We're beginning to see a lot of families breaking up. We're beginning to see a lot of divorces. We're beginning to see a lot of separation. And when these things happen, it impacts on the family. And in most cases, children bear the brunt of it. And sometimes children respond to these developments, you know, in different ways, and sometimes not so positively. Some of the children we see, you know, going astray are sometimes children who have had to deal with, you know, divorce, who have had to deal with marital breakdown, who have experienced domestic violence at home, who have not had much love from both parents, you know, and what have you. So we need to look at this, you know, from, you know, take a holistic approach, you know, to it, you know, and understand that, you know, yes, it is not. I know that some people feel that it is a choice, that they can decide, I want to have children, I don't need a man in my life. You know, it is a lifestyle decision. But then there are consequences for that, you know. But there are people who also feel that, no, you don't need to have a husband, you don't need to have a man and a woman raise, you know, children for them to be good. You also have people who are, you know, gay, who feel that, you know, you don't have to, two men can raise, you know, wonderful children, you know. So, I mean, it's a different thing altogether. But what we need to look at as individuals, whether we are single parents or whether we are married, husband and wife, are we doing what we are supposed to do? In doing what we're supposed to do, do we also get support from the system to do what we are supposed to do? These are very serious issues that we need to address. Okay. Like I said, within our migrant community here, culture is a very important issue. A lot of our children have crisis of identity. You have first-generation immigrant parents coming from Africa who have had children here. You expect them to behave like an African, to reflect where they come from, and they also have a pressure to conform with, you know, the Irish way of life. And then you as a father yourself, you know, or as a parent, you know, you are not reinforcing some of the positive things about your culture on your children. When I talk about culture, look at the Indians, look at the Chinese. They're very strict. They adhere strictly to their culture. If an Indian child was born in Ireland, or a Chinese child, they speak Chinese language. Even before they go to primary school, they speak Chinese language. They follow the Chinese way of life. Okay? They respect their parents. Certain things are expected of them. The Indians, they believe, because the parents have gone ahead to stamp on them to teach them their cultural values. So there are things you don't expect to see an Indian boy doing on the streets of Dublin. There are things you will not expect a Chinese teenager doing on the streets of Dublin. Are they not teenagers as well? They are. But what about our own African children? Do they have a code? No. Do we have a value system? No. Do they have to conform to certain ways? No. Because we have not told them who they are. Because sometimes even we ourselves as parents do not know who we are. Exactly. We do not understand where we're coming from. And if you don't know who you are and where you're coming from, you are completely lost.